Oh, hello. How are you? Today's class, we are going to learn about a new word from this book. I don't go on dictionaries anymore online because they rewrite them. Today's word is hubris. Now, in this book, it says arrogant pride or presumption. In Greek tragedy, excessive pride towards or defiance of the god, leading to nemesis. Hubris. Um, Usually you see this word come up with politicians, but that's not necessarily the case anymore. When you're talking about online, it's very common. Wizards of the Coast showed hubris. They thought, "Oh, we can do whatever the fuck we want, and let's just do it." Now, you used to be able to get away with that kind of crap when there was no internet, but now we have an internet, you can't get away with that crap. Um, let's take a trip back into the hot tub time machine to a time before Wizards of the Coast was on the scene. And this is what I'm not hearing about very much online. I mean, maybe it's something that's very obvious. I don't know. I always do state obvious stuff a lot of times. But let's go back before Wizards of the Coast to when TSR was running it. There was no open game license. There was a time when no one was allowed to make content freely for Dungeons and Dragons. Um, and when it was in reasonable hands, that was okay. There was no internet, there was no, to make a product took a lot of time and effort and money. So, you know, put it in their hands and let them do with it what they want. That was all right. Then um, TSR hire somebody outside who never played the fucking game, who was just basically there to make money for the company, and they ran it in the ground. And so, Wizards of the Coast, the true Wizard of the Coast, the original, the ones that was founded by people who actually played the games. And I'm not, and believe me, I'm not saying they did everything perfect, but they they founded the company, they bought out TSR, and they put the open game license. So, a very important thing I want to point out was that there was a time when this did not exist. I get it, it's been 20 plus years that it's been around. And that's the other part. Once that genie gets out of that bottle, you can't go back. You can never, you know, once you put this out in the public, I mean, they might, you go, oh, we'll battle them, and you can't do that. You know, that's a lot of money. So when they put this out, because of hubris, they thought, oh, we got them by the balls. We got perfectly rights. We're just going to take away, because capitalism is evil, yada yada. But they didn't think that we would fight back, and we have. Every company that's not Wizards of the Coast is going to skirt tail around their little rules because there's lawyers involved. What they didn't understand about the D&D community that I've seen for years, especially, and I started seeing it around Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Second Edition, was the innovation and the drive to do the things they want to do for the love of their game. The fans of this game, I mean, anyone that would create a whole rule set because they didn't like one rule in the game. It shows you the dedication of what people will do. But you see, they don't know their fan base. They don't know their customers. So because of hubris, they've done what they've done. Now, so the first thing I wanted to talk about today, besides the fact of hubris, is that at one time this was a totally different situation. Before the internet, after internet. The second thing I want to talk about, and I'm not hearing it. I mean, a lot of people are taking the high road. They're going, oh, we're going to skirt tail around this. We're just going to create our own thing and move on. No, they are not allowed to do this. They are not allowed to have put this up here and and think in a, by hubris that they can do with you whatever they want. So, what I am calling for, and I'm not this kind of person, believe it or not. As a, back in my early days of 80s and the 90s with my gay activism, you know, I would call out for boycotts and all this sort of stuff. And my old self now, I think boycotts are kind of, but no, boycotts are needed. That little movie that they're coming out there with that cute little Chris Pine, don't see it. Don't pay for it. Whatever you do, ignore it. Ignore everything by Hasbro. You got children, don't buy them toys from Hasbro. You got that Pokemon and what's the other thing they do? The other card game. Sell them, burn them. Do a video of yourself burning your cards. Do everything you can to show these people that they don't own you, that their hubris is not going to overtake you. What really shows their hubris, though, I think, and I don't know, everybody has their own little world. But in my world, I just lost my car last year. I can't, I, to get to work, it's $35 one way. And then you have to eat. And while I've lost 60 pounds this last year, I still have to eat, and I'm still getting raked over the coals over the prices of high prices of food. And then along comes Wizards of the Coast, and they go, "Oh, we got these little people. The little people are doing something. We need to get rid of those people. We need every fucking dime squeezed out and given to us." If you sit back and if you don't show them with your money and the power of your money, even if it's just a freaking dime to spend, you are letting them take you for a ride. Remember, Kleis, hubris. Don't you ever forget that. Don't you forget it. So, what am I saying? Do you not play D&D because they own the rights to D&D? Wizards of Swords and Wizardry, every single one of them, more or less. The Necrotic Gnome hasn't done it yet, but he better start. He better get up there and he better say, we're going to change a few words in the books. We're going to, whatever he needs to do. And I have a feeling him and other publishers are watching the bigger guys to figure it all out. Once they figure out what they're going to do, they need to all drop Wizards of the Coast like a fly. Also, and I don't know who's going to be the one to do it. Talking fifth edition. Somebody's going to skirt tail around that one too and create 5e content similar to the way Pathfinder did when third edition went out. And you better watch those people, and you better, if you're the fifth edition people who have to have fifth edition, are not going to go to the OSR. You're going to, once those sleep people show up, start supporting them. But these people who thought that they were going to roll you over and steam you over and take you out like that. Um, we are going to see already they're canceling D&D Beyond, and that's that's got their attention. A lot of cancellations on D&D Beyond. um, but to, not only is it hubris because they're going to do it in the first place, but they're going to do it in this background where everybody's fucking starving and struggling to make money to feed their children. The people who is controls the IP of a hobby, they're going to come over and take your lifetime, your ability to feed your children. Don't you let them do it. Don't you give them an ounce of oh, and I know I ramble. The other thing, and mark my word, I don't know her name. It's interesting though. They keep putting the same type of people in charge of these businesses that runs them into the ground. Whatever her name is, the president of Wizard of the Coast, I assure you, she's the first one that Wizards of the Coast is going to throw under that bus. I see her gone within a year. Okay, probably sooner than that. But I have a feeling we don't need to do anything for her about her. And don't get me wrong, she's just the bulldog. She's not the one that was. It's the person. It's the master that sicked her on this. She was hired specifically to do what she's doing. Okay. You still have to, you still have to chain the bulldog because it could bite you, but it's not the one who sicked her out on you. But her time at Wizards of the Coast is going to come to an end very soon. I assure you, probably within a year. I could be wrong. They might hold on to her because this woke crowd, and that's partly who's responsible for this. This woke crowd is very determined, to, and it's like this in all society now. Determined to destroy everything that has been established to create their little weird utopians. Don't you let them do it. That's all for today for class.